Hello, in this video we're going to walk through how you can configure Lockbox in your Kadera system. So as you might already know, customers can make payments in the Kadera's payment portal um, on their account to pay open invoices and whatnot. And in order to apply these payments that customers are making in the Kadera system um, into the ERP, what's typically done is you would set up Lockbox in the ERP, and then every night the Kadera system will post a Lockbox file to your ERP, and the Lockbox processing in the ERP will run as normal, and all the payments that customers have been making throughout the day will get applied in the ERP automatically, so you don't have to manually apply them. So to configure Lockbox, what you'll first want to do is set up the Lockbox in your ERP, and then once you have set that up, what you do is come over to Kadera's here, go to AR/AP section, and then choose Lockbox here. Now it'll take you to a screen, and the first tab here is the configuration screen, and this is where you would set up the Lockbox configuration that you'd like to use. So the first drop down here is the enable batch out drop down, and when you change this to yes, basically every night the batch out process is going to run in Kadera's automatically, and it's going to post that file to the ERP. Now you only want to set this to yes once you've fully configured the Lockbox process in Kadera's here. So let's walk through each of these options. The first option here is going to be the batch out hour, and you can choose at what hour the Kadera's batch out process will run to post the file to the ERP. So this is in UTC time, so you can basically choose the UTC hour at which the process will run, and right now it's defaulted to 5, but you can change it to whatever you'd like. The batch out method is the file type / method that Kadera's will use to post the file to the ERP. You can choose from a variety of different options. It depends on what you have set up in your ERP. For example, we have EDI 820, EDI 823 XML, and so on. We also have another option here that we'll cover in a later video. It's the API option. This is an alternative method to Lockbox, to the Lockbox setup in the ERP, but we'll get into more detail on that a little bit later. So what you want to do is set the file type that you want to post. Now the next option here is related to the batch out processing. As customers make payments that aren't on account, for example, maybe you are using the one-time payment link in Kadera's where a user might pay for an order by a credit card using a public link to the order. Those do not go through Lockbox. They actually tender the order real time in the ERP. However, that may open a journal in the ERP, in which case if you set this option to yes, when the daily batch out process runs to post a Lockbox file, the Kadera system will also automatically close any OpenGL journals that may have been opened in order to tender orders in the ERP when customers pay for them in Kadera's. So you can set this to yes if you like. If you set it to yes, the Kadera system will close the GL journals at the same time that the Lockbox process runs to post your Lockbox file. The next option here is enable batch out per host. This is only applicable if you are running multiple websites on the same Kadera system, and you would like to configure Lockbox separately for each host. So for example, if this is a multi-site system that I'm on right now, and if I choose this yes, I could configure Lockbox separately, set a different Lockbox file name, set a different Lockbox number, etc. for each host or website that is running on my Kadera system. I don't want to do that today though. I'm going to configure Lockbox at the global level, and all of my sites will just use the global config here. So the next thing that we would want to configure is a Lockbox upload method. There's two different options here. You can choose file transfer, which is the most commonly used, or you can choose SFTP. After you choose the Lockbox upload method, what you'll want to do is set the Lockbox file name that is going to be posted to the ERP, the Lockbox number of the file, and finally the routing number. Once you have all that configured, you can go ahead and change the enable batch out drop down to yes, and it'll run at the hour that you have set every day to automatically post the payments to the ERP. Now, once you have this all configured and you have turned this on, or even before you turn on the automated batch out, what you can do to test your configuration here and make sure it's all working properly is you can go ahead and make a payment through the payment portal, and to test posting that payment to the ERP through the batch out process here, you can manually trigger the batch out process by clicking this button here. And there's a few different options that you can set before you manually trigger the batch out. The first option here is mark as exported. So if you choose this option, basically what's going to happen when you trigger the batch out is it's going to pull all the payments that have not been sent through the batch out process yet, and then it'll mark those payment records as already batched out or exported, and the next batch out process that runs will not pick up those payments. So this is a handy way if you want to test multiple times and use the same payment without making payments over and over in the payment portal. You can mark the payments as exported by choosing yes here, or you can say no and the payments will not be marked as exported, and the next time the batch out process runs, it'll pick up those payments again and send them again through the batch out process. So depending on what you're testing or what you're doing, you might want this set to yes or no. This is another handy drop-down option, include already exported data. You can choose to include only payments that haven't been sent through the batch out process, or you can choose to not include any payments that have been sent through the batch out process. So if you want to pick up any new payments that haven't been applied in the ERP yet, you would choose no. If you want to send payments to the ERP again, even though they've already been sent through a batch out process, you can include yes. Then you'll want to set your export format here. Again, this is going to be the format of the Lockbox file that you want to post to the ERP, EDI 823 XML, EDI 820, and so on. Choose whatever you have set up in the ERP. The next thing that you'll want to set is the start date and the end date. And this is going to be the date range of payments that you're going to pull and send to the ERP through the batch out process. So you can specify what payments you want to pull via this date range here. And finally, if you're in multi-site setup and you have Lockbox configured per host or website, you can choose which website or host you want to pull the payments for as well. But this is optional. If you have it configured at the global level, just leave this blank and it'll just pull the payments as normal. Once you're ready, you can hit submit and it will initiate the batch out process and trigger that. If you've manually triggered a batch out process for testing purposes, you'll of course want to go to your ERP and verify that it worked as normal on that side. You can also view the batch out history in Coderis, whether it was a manual batch out or an automatic batch out. All batch out events will be stored here, and you can preview the results. If there was an error, you can see the errors, and you can see details about each batch out run on this screen as you start collecting batch out history when the batch out process starts running. So that was a quick overview of how to configure and set up Lockbox in Kadairs. Hopefully you've found it helpful, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.